Welcome to The Explainer. What if I told you that everything we hear about building wealth, the endless side hustles, the 24/7 grind, what if that's not the only way? Today, we're going to dig into a totally different path to financial independence, one that really challenges that whole hustle culture idea.
Okay, that's a pretty bold statement, right? In a world that's just obsessed with the side hustle, the idea that you don't need a second job, that sounds almost crazy, but it's really pointing to a much more focused, a much more foundational way to build wealth.
And right here, this is the core of it all. See, the real key isn't about running faster on that hamster wheel. It's about using what you've already got, but with smart, consistent discipline. It's a total shift in thinking, really, from just working more to working smarter with your money.
So what does this discipline actually look like? Well, it breaks down into this really simple three-part game plan. First, you maximize your main income. Second, you get a handle on your biggest expenses. And third, this is the magic part, you invest the gap.
Okay, this concept right here, this is the heart of the whole strategy. The investment gap, it's just the space between what you make and what you spend. But here's the thing, it's not just leftover cash. You have to think of it as the engine of your wealth. The bigger you can make that gap, the more fuel you're pouring into your own financial future.
All right, let's jump into the first pillar, maximizing your primary income. Before you even start thinking about a side gig, the real goal is to get more out of the job you already have.
So how do you actually do that? Well, it really comes down to two key moves. First, you've got to actively negotiate for raises. Think about it. When was the last time you really built a strong case for your value and asked for what you're worth? And second, you have to be constantly upskilling. When you learn valuable new skills, you make yourself way more essential, which naturally leads to a higher salary.
But look, making more money is only half the battle. To really open up that investment gap, you absolutely have to look at the other side of the equation, getting a grip on your biggest expenses.
Now this is such a crucial point. Seriously, forget about stressing over every single coffee you buy. This whole approach is about pulling the biggest levers. And the two things that have a massive impact on your budget are housing and your car. If you can optimize just those two areas, you can free up way more cash for that investment gap than if you made 100 tiny cuts elsewhere.
Okay, and now we're at the final and honestly the most powerful step. This is where it all comes together. We're going to connect that higher income with the lower expenses to really get that wealth building engine roaring. This simple formula really says it all, doesn't it? You're literally creating a machine. That extra cash you generate by making more and spending less, that becomes the fuel you feed into your investment engine, and you do it systematically, automatically. This is how you stop just trading your time for money, and you really start making your money work for you. And this right here just lays out the two different paths so perfectly. On one side, you've got the hustle method. It adds a ton of complexity, a ton of stress, and you're always risking burnout. But then on the other side, you have the system method. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's an automatic engine for wealth that works for you 24/7, whether you're on the clock or not. And really, it all boils down to this one idea. Look, side hustles can definitely help. There's no doubt about it. But it's the systems that win in the long run. A reliable, repeatable system. That's the real foundation for sustainable wealth. Everything else is just a bonus. So the path forward is actually pretty clear. Your system becomes your own personal roadmap to financial freedom. So as you look at these three big levers, your income, your biggest expenses, and your investments, the real question is, what's the one thing, the most impactful first step that you can take today to start building your own system?